Hello everyone, you're most welcome once again. So today we are going to study about types of leavened dough, which is very important because most of us are just producing different types of bread, but without knowing the types of dough we are just using. So I want you to stay with me. Let's explore types of leavened dough together. Let's go. Now, the title says understand the core types of leavened dough. Understand the core types of leavened dough. When we say leavened dough, we need to understand the definition before we continue. Leavened dough, it means is just a yeast-based dough, a dough that are leavened by yeast, dough that are expanded by yeast. Remember in the previous video, we have seen different leavening agent. If you didn't see the previous video, I want you to check on channel. There is video that explain vividly how leavening agent works and their types. Now we are on types of leavened dough. So in types of leavened dough, we have two main types, which is lean dough as well as enriched dough. We have lean dough and enriched dough. So we are going to break down these two types so that you can understand how they are different. Now we will explore different features that will help us understand more about this dough. Features we are going to follow is the main ingredient that we use in both dough. We will see fats and sugar content within the dough. We'll also understand the texture. This both dough have different texture. It means the product from lean dough and the product from enriched dough have different texture. So we are going to see there is also flavors. Flavor. In the previous video, we have talked about flavor, and I will make a video that will be more focusing on flavor. I want to explain to you guys flavor. What is a flavor? This word is very deep. This word flavor is very deep and it is very broad. Now I will make a video explaining this flavor. So stay tuned. Subscribe for your sake not to miss this video, because I know there in your kitchen you use these terms more often. But most of you don't know what is a flavor mean. Now we also see fermentation, because both dough have different fermentation type. They don't ferment the same. They ferment different. That's why we also see fermentation period. Now there is also examples. Examples will help us understand deeply. Now let's start from main ingredient. Should we start from main ingredient or we should start by definition? Definition. Thank you so much. So now, when we say lean dough, understand that types of dough that uses basic ingredient. Basic ingredient. When we say basic ingredient, you need to understand flour. You need to understand water, yeast, as well as salt. These are the basic ingredients that are used in lean dough. When we say lean dough, understand those types of dough that use basic ingredient, those ingredients that are listed. Now, enriched dough, it is still use basic ingredient but with higher amount of sugar, eggs, and fats. It use higher amount of sugar, eggs, and fats. It is enriched because it's enriched by sugar, eggs, and fats. That is the difference. Now, main ingredient for this lean dough is just flour, water, yeast, and salt. As simple as that. As long as you have these ingredients on the table, you have a lean dough. As long as you have a lean dough, you have a bread that uses lean ingredient, basic ingredient. Now there is also enriched dough. Enriched dough, I told you, remember, it still use basic ingredients like flour, water, yeast, but with higher amount of sugar, eggs, and the fats. Pay attention to this. This is the difference. This is enriched by sugar, eggs, and the fats, especially butter. Some bread calls for butter, other calls for oil. Now let's see fats and sugar content. So within the dough, fats and sugar are very minimal. They are very minimal or none. If you like, as a baker, you can put very minimal fats or just leave it, no problem. As long as you have this basic ingredient, you will have a very flavorful bread. Now, when it comes to enriched dough, fats and sugar content are very high. Here it is very minimal or none, but here in enriched dough, it is very high. It is very high. Now, the ingredient to be high is butter or oil, sugar, like I said, eggs, but there is some bread that uses milk as well. Uses what? Milk instead of water. They prefer milk. We'll see the examples. Now, let's talk about texture. Remember in the previous video, I have explained what is a texture. What's the texture? So here on real dough bread, texture is very crusty. It is crusty, means it is very crispy. It has a firm outer crust. That golden brown layer of a bread that uses a real dough, it is very crusty because it is firm. It is also chewy. It is chewy. When something is chewy, it means it resists to be broken. It requires a prolonged bite to be broken down. You need to bite it for a long time. It's not because this is very difficult or it is very tough. It is because this is very stretchy and elastic. It is stretchy and elastic, so it requires much time to tear, much time to be broken down when you are chewing. That is chewing. So for enriched dough, the texture is very soft. Butter, the texture is very soft, rich, and tender. When something is tender, it means it has moisture, some moisture content. When it is soft, you understand. Also because of this moisture content, which is coming from butter and the eggs. That tenderness, that softness are all from butter and eggs. It is also rich. It means it has a higher amount. Now, there is also flavor. On this flavor, you need to pay attention. I told you that I'm going to make a video explaining flavor deeply because this word is very deep. I can stand on my feet and say this is one of the most used terminology in culinary. It can come on top of list of terminologies that are used in culinary art. So, no flavor, no culinary art. So flavor means a lot in culinary art. So that's why I want to make a deep video, a long video explaining how flavor works, how flavor feel. Yeah, I will do this video. So on this lean dough, the flavor is mild. When flavor is mild, it means the flavor is not overtaking, just light. Flavor are delicate, you understand? As long as there is no sugar in bread, so flavor are mild. It is not overpowering. It is not overtaking. So flavor here is very mild. It is very light and delicate. Now there is also savory. Flavor are also savory. Savory, understand when we say savory, understand something which is not sweet. Something which is not sweet. The opposite of sweet is savory. So now There is also flavor in enriched dough. Flavor, there is sweetness because of sugar. It is buttery. When you say it is butter, it means you feel higher amount of butter. Yeah, the flavor is buttery. You smell butter. You feel butter in your mouth. So as long as this enriched bread has high butter content, so the flavor will be buttery. It means you will feel butter in smell, in taste. You will feel butter. Now let's talk about fermentation. Fermentation of plain dough is different from fermentation of enriched dough. This for rainy dough, fermentation is very fast. It is very fast. There is nothing to slow down fermentation. There is nothing to weaken a yeast. So that's why fermentation on this rainy dough is very fast. So there is also fermentation in enriched dough. Here they say fermentation is very slower. Fermentation is slower because of fats and sugar. Sugar is too much. Fats is too much. So the fermentation goes very slow because this enriched dough has high amount of fat and sugar. Both ingredients, when they are too much, they weaken fermentation process. So as a result, the fermentation becomes very slower. Now there is examples that can help us understand more. As long as you have produced bread using rainy dough, the bread will have open crumb, very open crumb. So example, there is baguette, there is ciabatta, there is pizza dough. All of this bread use lean dough. They all use basic ingredient. But here in enriched, we have brioche. Brioche is an enriched bread. It is enriched because it has high amount of fats, that is butter. It has high amount of eggs as well as sugar. There is also challah bread. Remember here, I told you that there is some bread that calls for milk rather than water. That is challah bread. Challah bread has high amount of sugar. It uses eggs as well as oil and milk. Now, those are the examples on both sides. These types of leavened dough, you can now stand in front of people straightly, strongly, and then explain to them the core types of leavened dough, which is lean dough and enriched dough. Now, this was the end of today's session. I would like to give you a big up, guys, because you never stop supporting me. So if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, like the video, and then leave a comment if you have a time. It's all your choice, but I want you to appreciate my effort as well as my time, because this is very meaningful. Now, bye, see you in the next video.